Walk into almost any hardware store and look at the power tool aisle. Milwaukee, DeWalt, Craftsman. Different colors, different prices, different promises, but behind every single one of those brands sits one company, Stanley Black Decker. And in 2017, their CEO said something out loud that most executives never would. He admitted the decline wasn't an accident, it was allowed. This is how they did it. The company behind the curtain. To understand what happened to Milwaukee and DeWalt, you have to understand what Stanley Black Decker actually is. Not the brand, the structure. Stanley Black Decker was formed in 2010, a merger between two historic American tool companies. Stanley Works, founded in 1843, and Black & Decker, founded in 1910. Between 2010 and 2020, the company executed one of the most aggressive acquisition strategies in industrial history. Craftsman, Irwin, Lennox, Mac Tools, Porter Cable, brand after brand absorbed, different logos, different shelf space, same ownership. By 2022, Stanley Black & Decker controlled an estimated 30% of the global professional power tool market. When one company controls that much, the rules of competition no longer apply the same way. But acquiring brands is not the same as improving them. The DeWalt Blueprint. DeWalt was acquired by Black & Decker in 1960. For decades, it operated as a premium professional brand. Contractors trusted it. Its yellow and black design became a symbol of job site durability. But durability has a problem. A tool that lasts 10 years only gets sold once. After the Stanley Black & Decker merger, the approach shifted. Production facilities were restructured. Manufacturing moved overseas, first partially, then systematically. Components engineered for longevity were respecified for cost efficiency. The changes were not announced. They never are. A slightly different motor winding, cheaper gear material, a housing designed for assembly speed, not structural integrity, individually invisible, collectively transformative. To understand how, we go back to 2011. That was the year Stanley Black & Decker introduced their SBD 2020 plan, a 10-year financial roadmap with one goal: operating margin expansion. Spend less, charge the same. The plan projected margin improvements of 1 to 2 percentage points annually. Across a $15 billion business that represents hundreds of millions per year. The tools didn't get worse because of negligence, they got worse because of math. The CEO admission. In 2017, James Lorey, then CEO of Stanley Black & Decker, appeared on an earnings call. Analysts asked about the Craftsman brand, which the company had just acquired from Sears. His answer was direct in a way that cut through years of marketing language. He used the word devolved, not declined, not struggled, devolved. It was a precise choice, because devolve doesn't mean something went wrong, it means something was allowed to move backward, step by step, deliberately. Craftsman, once manufactured in the United States, once sold with lifetime guarantees, once a symbol of American industrial capability, had been allowed to erode under previous ownership. And Stanley Black & Decker bought that eroded brand not to restore it, but to reposition it. A new Craftsman at a lower price point. New manufacturing agreements with overseas suppliers. New margins on a legacy name that still carries decades of consumer trust. And that trust is worth something, even when the product behind it has changed. The financial evidence. The evidence isn't circumstantial, it's documented. Between 2016 and 2022, Stanley Black & Decker's gross margins improved from 35% to over 38%. During the same period, customer complaints about tool durability increased significantly. Those two trends moving in opposite directions are not coincidental. They are the mechanism. Lower material costs, tighter manufacturing tolerances optimized for speed, not longevity, warranty periods quietly shortened, repair programs reduced. A tool that breaks inside the system is more profitable than one that doesn't. Makita understood this differently. Festool refused the model. Hilti built a service alternative, but for the mass professional market, the dominant choice is still Stanley Black & Decker, and dominance changes behavior. The Milwaukee story. Milwaukee Tools presents an interesting case study. Stanley Black & Decker doesn't own Milwaukee. Tektronix Industries does, but Milwaukee's trajectory mirrors DeWalt's in ways that reveal how market-wide the pattern has become. Milwaukee built its reputation on professional-grade durability, But as the brand expanded, the product lines fragmented. The M12 line, the M18 line, the M18 Fuel line, each tier at a different price point. Each tier with different internal components. The segmentation isn't just about features, it's about planned longevity. A contractor who invests $2,000 in M18 fuel batteries is locked into that ecosystem. The switching cost becomes prohibitive, and once locked in, the replacement cycle becomes predictable. That predictability is what Wall Street values, not the quality of the tool, the reliability of the revenue stream. What on purpose really means. The decline of tool quality inside major brands is not a failure of management. It is not incompetence. It is a strategy, planned, modeled, executed across decades. There's a concept in industrial economics called managed quality decline. The principle is straightforward. If customers cannot easily switch, then the cost of lower quality is lower than the cost of maintaining high quality. The battery ecosystem makes switching expensive. The brand recognition makes comparison difficult. The tiered product line makes it easy to blame the customer for buying the wrong tier. You didn't buy a worse drill. You bought into a system designed to degrade at a rate slower than your ability to notice and faster than your willingness to start over. That is not an accident. That is engineering, applied not to the product, but to the consumer relationship. The overseas shift. The manufacturing migration tells the story in concrete terms. In 2010, approximately 40% of DeWalt's professional tools were manufactured in the United States. By 2020, that number dropped to less than 15%. The shift wasn't just about labor costs, it was about regulatory arbitrage. Quality control standards that would flag defects in American facilities become suggestions in contract manufacturing overseas. A motor that runs 10% hotter isn't a failed spec if the purchase order doesn't explicitly measure thermal performance. A plastic housing that cracks under sustained vibration isn't defective if the testing protocol doesn't include extended duty cycles. The specifications didn't change on paper, they changed in practice. The result is tools that pass quality control on day one but fail in year 3, right after the warranty expires. The battery lock-in. The most brilliant part of the system isn't the tools, it's the batteries. A professional contractor with 8 DeWalt 20-volt batteries has made a $400 to $600 investment. Those batteries don't work with Milwaukee, they don't work with Makita. Switching brands doesn't mean buying a new drill, it means replacing an entire infrastructure. So when that drill fails at year 4, the choice isn't between DeWalt and Milwaukee. The choice is between another DeWalt or eating the sunk cost. That's not a product decision, that's a financial trap. And it works precisely because it was designed to work. The tool industry today is not defined by who builds the best product. It is defined by who controls the most entry points, the most ecosystems, the most legacy names on the most shelves. Stanley Black Decker did not ruin DeWalt through negligence. They transformed it through design into a platform that generates dependable recurring revenue, regardless of whether the tools themselves remain dependable. The CEO admitted it. The margins confirmed it. The pattern completed it. Walk into that hardware store again. Look at the yellow drills, the red impact drivers, the black Craftsman sets. You're not looking at different companies competing. You're looking at different doors into the same room. And once you walk through any of them, the walls keep you there. The goal was never to build the tool that lasts forever. The goal was to build the system that lasts forever by making sure the tools don't. That's not a conspiracy, that's a business model. Executed in plain sight. Admitted on earnings calls. Reflected in margin expansion. The next time you reach for that yellow drill or red impact driver, you're not just choosing a tool, you're choosing a position inside a system built to keep you there. And now you know exactly who built it.